7:50. I know there's still people being checked in, so I do appreciate you coming early, and so we can get started. We have a lot of business to take care of in the meeting, and a number of more than usual kind of pre-meeting things to do, so we want to get started. So I will call this meeting to order. Very pleased that we have... Hello, is this working? Are we on? Okay, we are. Do it. I may need another. As we always do at the start of every meeting, we'll do this in a few minutes. We take a moment to remember the loved ones that we've lost. A very special person to the chair and to this meeting is Carol Dodge, and I've invited two of Carol's children up to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Mary, and I'm sure many of you know them, Mary Pat Dodge and Brian Dodge, and I'd ask that you stand them in lead.
Right up. Okay. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Town Council has pointed out that, as you know, our former clerk resigned last year. That was Peg Struzik. And there is a quirk in the Massachusetts statute. Quirk may not be the right word, but at any rate, the statute reads that an interim town clerk cannot be the clerk for the town meeting. So the clerk has many duties, but one of them is traditionally to be the clerk of the town meeting, although a town meeting could decide it wants its own clerk. So it's my understanding that Peg Struzik, who we all know, has graciously offered to serve as temporary clerk for this meeting only. As in other elections, the person receiving the majority of votes of those present and voting is declared the winner, but if there is only one person nominated tonight, only one vote or ballot will be required to elect the temporary clerk. If only one nomination is made, therefore, I'll ask for motion to authorize the chair of the advisory committee to cast one ballot in favor of the nominee. So you have gotten, I understand, some slips. If you want to nominate someone else, you are free to do that. That may require a standing vote. I don't want to discourage any nominees, but that might have to happen. So Linda Peterson, chair of the advisory committee, moves that Peg Struzik be nominated as temporary clerk for the purposes of this meeting. Is there a second? Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Hearing none, nominations are closed. Further, hearing no objections, I declare that Peg Struzik is the sole nominee for the position of temporary clerk for this meeting. Linda Peterson further moves that she cast one ballot for Peg Struzik. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. And the chair will instruct Linda Peterson to cast one ballot nominating Peg Struzik as the clerk for this meeting. So congratulations, Peg. And I have to swear you in. Do you, Margaret Struzik, solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as temporary town clerk for the annual and special 2025 town meeting for the town of Pembroke, and in accordance with the bylaws of the town and the bylaws of the Commonwealth to the best of your ability? Congratulations. Thank you. So again, I'd like to welcome you here. I'm not going to ask for a show of hands for first-timers because sometimes folks are embarrassed that they haven't been here before, but if this is your first meeting, we welcome you and we hope you stay. And we expect to be able to finish all the business tonight, so it'll be well worth your while, and we invite you back for future meetings in the future. As we always do at our annual town meeting, we ask for a moment of silence to recognize those who have served the town in one capacity or another, who we have lost over the past year. And this year, unfortunately, it's a fairly lengthy list. Those include Marilyn Grant, Pembroke Public Schools teacher, Ruth Tierney, who served in the Council on Aging, Andrew Mendez, Pembroke Public Schools custodian, Gary Cook, Pembroke Public Schools custodian, Amy Mata, Pembroke Public Schools teacher, Visual Art Department, Laura Ritchie, Pembroke Public Schools teacher in the Art Department, Johnny Russo, many of us remember Johnny fondly, I should say, DPW highway mechanic, and served for many years on the Board of Assessors. Henry Bob Ploss, I think, was the longest serving select board member in town history. Bob passed away earlier this year or late last year. Elaine Spalding, a library trustee, and Gene Fulmine Sr. Gene was on the DPW Water Department and an auxiliary police officer. We lost two other folks, and I ask at this point Lance Kennedy, Education Director, to say a few words. On behalf of Joel Sugarman.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Many of you know me. I'm your Community Services Director, and I do have the honor tonight, as Mr. Moderator gave me the opportunity to just talk about Joel Sugarman. I only had the really privilege of knowing him for the last year. As we opened this new community center, he was a big piece of that. Very passionate about the community. Obviously served in school committee for many years, played a lot of different roles in our community, probably helped many of you with your mortgages. But he was really passionate about the community center, and just really one of his last acts was he helped us write a grant through a foundation to get $25,000 for the community center to see activities happen that he was passionate about. So I just want to share what an impact he had on my life over the last year and just the impact that he's had in our community, and we want to remember Joel Sugarman.
Thank you, Lance. And I'd like just to take a moment to pay an unfittingly short tribute to a dear friend of mine and this meeting whom we lost last year. Carol Dodge was a part of this community in every respect, but particularly town meeting. Since the 70s, when she moved into town with her husband Al and raised a family, she has been a part of this meeting, speaking on articles she was passionate about, and boy was she passionate, selling coffee and donuts in the lobby to benefit the Key Club, or just sitting quietly watching. She was almost always here. She told me a couple of years ago that she only missed 2 meetings over all those years. Those include special town meetings as well as annual town meetings. One to have a baby, and the other after another hospitalization. Last year, I think I embarrassed her a little bit because I mentioned this publicly. She made it to the meeting. I remember I was sitting right up in the corner up there after being discharged from the ER just a few hours before. Carol and I were not related, but when she called me, which really was rare, mainly only to look for help for somebody else, she always said, "This is your Auntie Carol." And you know you've lost someone important in your life when you are constantly reminded of their presence or lack thereof, and you experience that big hole that just cannot be filled. And Carol was that someone for so many of us. She quietly helped too many to count. She quietly prayed for anyone who needed prayers, whether we asked for them or not. She passionately stood for her beliefs, whether that was on behalf of a small d or a capital D. She was old school political, passionate, but not personal. She served on both elementary and regional school committees for many years, as well as the Plymouth County Collaborative Board, the Democratic Town Committee. I'm sure I'm missing a few. But after her regional school committee defeat, which was so tough for her, she became friends with the woman who defeated her, even spending time with their family during the holidays. I'm not sure that happens anymore. I would love to say more, but I can hear her whispering, maybe not whispering, but in my ear saying, "Mow the lawn, Stephen." So I'm happy that her presence continues here in the spirit of Mary, Pat, and Brian. I can assure you, and please pass along to the rest of the family, your sister and brother, that her presence will always be felt here. So I ask you just to take a moment to recognize all those whom we lost in the past year. Thank you. So as we progress to the meeting, I just want to make sure that everyone has a copy of the warrant. The special is within the annual. If you don't, please raise your hand, and the tellers who have been sworn in can get one to you. That's important that you have that. Very basic ground rules, if you haven't been to the town meeting already. There are 2 microphones on either side. There's a couple up front. If you speak, please proceed to the microphone. If you are having trouble getting to the microphone, just raise your hand and we'll make sure we get it to you. So, to stand there. I may ask for another microphone if it's cutting out. Everything has to be addressed through the chair, and I'll try to go in the order in which people stood up, giving preference to those who have not previously spoken. If you wish to raise a point of order, and the chair is very liberal with what a point of order is, Mr. Moderator, I can't understand. Do we have another? Is this cutting in or is it me? It is cutting in, okay. I don't understand what's going on. I have a procedural question. Just shout, you can shout that out from your seat. Mr. Moderator, point of order, and I'll recognize you and you can state your point of order. If you speak with a microphone, I'm told, speaker of microphone issues, we need to have it right up to your mouth, like a fist's distance away, just so we can hear you. So if you have any questions at all, please raise your hand and feel free to ask. We have a couple of quick announcements. The Friends of Pembroke Library have a table to introduce people to all the ways they can contribute to our wonderful library, and they welcome you to join them. They're out there. Mark your calendar for Pembroke's favorite event, Pembroke Celebrates with Fireworks. It will be Saturday, September 20th at the Pembroke High School practice fields. Family tailgating, and weather will be good, we know ahead of time. Family tailgating from 5 to 7:45 with a live band, food trucks, moon bounce, inflatable obstacle course, and vendors. This year the fireworks will start around 7:45. Fireworks cost $1,000 a minute. It's about the cost of my kids' college tuition. And this event is put on by a small group of Pembroke residents who have to bootstrap this event themselves. So they kindly ask that if you have had fun at the event in the past, to donate or become a sponsor. More info can be found at pembrokecelebrates.com. They have a Facebook page. Donations can be dropped off at Keegan Realty on Center Street. And Pembroke's largest balloon fight is the last day of school, which is Friday at the community center. And for those who watch at home, the local scene town meeting, it can be seen live on Comcast Channel 9, online at YouTube, and you can watch it again, right, by just going to youtube.com/Pembroke Meetings. Okay, one other routine business that we have. There are many votes that require a 2/3 vote, and to negate having to stand and be counted every time, the chair always asks that the meeting give the chair permission to declare a 2/3 vote. It saves time. But you can, I can assure you, if there's ever a close vote, then we will do a standing vote. But so Linda Peterson moves that if a 2/3 vote is required by statute, the moderator is authorized to declare a 2/3 vote if, after a show of hands, the moderator determines that the 2/3 majority has been reached. Provided, however, that if a vote so declared is immediately questioned by 7 or more voters, the moderator shall verify the 2/3 majority by ordering a standing count of the yeas and nays. Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, please say aye. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. There's probably 3 issues on most people's minds these days. One is potholes, the other is brown water, and the third is what's happening with our public safety building. So I just wanted to take advantage of this opportunity and a captive audience to recognize Town Manager Bill Chenard to do a very brief update on where we are.
Very brief. So It's going well. We are through all of the engineering and architectural planning. All phases of the planning are complete. We have pre-qualified all contractors, both general and subcontractors. I'm very, very pleased that the number of subs and general contractors that we've pre-qualified is very good, significantly high, which is always a good sign for bidding. The more competition, the lower the bids. So I'm pleased about that. As far as bid dates, we are actually out to bid as we speak. Sub-bids for the Public Safety Headquarters on Washington Street are due tomorrow. Next Wednesday, the sub-bids for the substation on Monroe and School Street are due. The following Wednesday, the GC general contractor bids for the Washington Street are due, and then the first Wednesday in June, the final substation general contractor bids are due. I'm very, very encouraged that there's been several projects in other cities and towns throughout the Commonwealth that have come in, and it's really good. I'm super pleased. Just a quick note, 2 million under, 6.5 million under, 1.8 under, 3 million under. Under is good. So we're expecting that. As far as construction will start in early summer. The headquarters is expected to take 21 months to complete. The substation is expected to take 11 months to complete. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. All right, we are ready to roll. As most of you know who've been to these meetings before, we have the lottery, high-tech lottery system here, where we use the ping pong balls, so we're not sure the order that articles will come, so it requires some dancing around a little bit with your warrant to find it. I'll try, if I remember, to mention the page the article is on. The exception of that, three things actually, are Articles 1 and 2, the wage and personnel classification scale. We do that first. We do the budget second. And then the other group of articles that may come out of order, if you want to do that, is a consent agenda. It's explained at the beginning of your warrant, and when we get to that, we will come to that. So, first article is Article 1, and the chair recognizes Tom Landry from Advisory.
Some people call me Tim.
I'm Tim. Gosh, I'm sorry.
Move that the town amend Schedules A, B, and C of the classification and compensation bylaws according to the schedules listed and printed in Appendix A of the 2025 annual town meeting warrant, and to raise the appropriate and appropriate from overlay surplus the sum of $10,536 to fund the changes, and further authorize the town accountant to allocate the funds to appropriate the budget items voted under Article 2 of this meeting, such changes to take effect July 1st, 2025.
Is there a second? Motion's been seconded. We'll take these individual, not every individual by line, but individual by group. So first vote will be, the chair apologizes for the voice. I'm not sick. No idea what's going on. It's been this way like a month, so I just hope it lasts. So the first item we'll take is Schedule A, which is the schedule for full-time officers and employees. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of adopting Schedule A as printed in the warrant, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Schedule B, appointed part-time officers and employees. Any discussion or changes? Hearing none. All those in favor of Schedule B as printed in the warrant, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Schedule C, which is the schedule for full-time and part-time employees. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Schedule D, which is elected full-time and part-time officials. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Schedule D, please say aye. Aye. No, the ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Next item of business is Article 2, which is the budget. Chair recognizes Steve Walsh from Advisory.
Thank you. Move that the town appropriate a sum of $78,805,048 to fund the operation expenses of the town for the fiscal year 2026 as listed under Appendix B of the 2025 annual town meeting warrant. Column headed FY 2026 request, and to fix the salaries of the elected officials as listed under Appendix A, Schedule D, and to fund this appropriation, raise and appropriate from taxation a sum of $75,088,274 and transfer to the following sums. Capital Stabilization Fund, $35,000. Ambulance Fund, $1,502,500. Septic Loan Program, $73,758. Council on Aging Transportation, $105,000. School Athletic Fund, $63,875. School Construction Fund, $73,360. Water Enterprise Indirect, $549,165. Solid Waste Enterprise Indirect, $62,291. Cemetery Trust Fund, $15,725. Regional AOC, $36,100. Overlay Release, $84,813. Free cash, $1,115,187.
Motion has been made and seconded, so we do this by department. It's a little time-consuming, but it's traditionally how we do it. I will try not to go through it too fast, but we will go department by department. If you have a question or you want to amend an item, which is your right to do, please just shout out hold or Mr. Moderator or something, and we'll hold that particular item. So we'll do it department by department. So the first item is moderator, personal services elected, $100. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You can go home now. Select Board, personal services elected, $9,000. Personal services, $211,390. General expenses, $12,600. Audit services, $45,000. OPEB study, $9,000. South Shore Community Action Council, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. OPEB study, that's right, is $9,000. South Shore Community Action Council is $4,500. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Town Manager, personal services, $183,160. General expenses, $3,500. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Advisory Committee, personal services, $3,500. General expenses, $450. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Reserve Fund transfer is $80,000. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Town Accountant, personal services, $187,129. General expenses, $47,115. Seeing no discussion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Board of Assessors, personal services elected, $5,400. Personal services, $274,831. General expenses, $67,750. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Treasurer Collector, personal services, $417,370. General expenses, $94,800. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Legal, purchase of services, $109,375. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Information Technology, personal, general expenses, $165,956. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Town Clerk, personal services elected, $99,500. Personal services, $62,500. General expenses, $12,000. Any discussion? Please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Elections, personal services, $30,000. expenses, 28,000. Any discussion? I think we're going to switch to this one, okay? Hello? Personal services, 30,000. General expenses, 28,000. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Registrations, personal services, 10,800. General expenses, 11,800. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. Conservation Commission, general expenses, $450. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Planning Board, general expenses, $1,800. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Zoning Board of Appeals, general expenses, $1,800. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Town Building Maintenance, personal services, $199,634. General expenses, $148,270. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Yes, question. Just jump up to the microphone. This is on town building maintenance. The one thing the chair forgot to mention is when you do address the meeting, even though everyone may think they know you, they may not, and the press, I think, may be here, and the town clerk needs it for a record. So I just ask you to state your name and street.
Maria Karras, Washington Street.
Maria.
It's just a quick question. The $199,000, it's for personal expense. Can you explain what that means?
Chair recognizes Bill Chenard.
Yeah, to be simple, it's custodial services for all of the town buildings.
We can revote it. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Police Department, personal services, $4,464,576. General expenses, $346,980. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Fire Department, first, personal services, $4,158,408. General expenses, $182,090. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Inspectional services, personal services, $582,647. General expenses, $23,300. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Emergency management, personal services, $4,251. General expenses, $9,750. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Animal control officer, personal services, $58,515. General expenses, $13,686. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Public Works, personal services, $1,008,612. General expenses, $405,945. Although, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Snow and ice, $185,000. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Townwide utilities, general expenses, $261,313. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Board of Health, general expenses, $27,450. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Council on Aging, personal services, $315,000. General expenses, $31,400. Senior tax program, $5,000. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Veteran Services, personal services, $79,148. General expenses, $2,100. General relief, $115,000. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Commission on Disabilities, general expenses, $450. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Library, personal services, $637,746. General expenses, $91,000. Books, $95,000. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Lydia Drake Library, $5,300. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Recreation Commission, Personal Services, $167,982. General expenses, $11,600. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Community Center, general expenses, personal services, $99,424. General expenses, $103,900. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Herring Fisheries, general expenses, $1,500. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Town Landing, personal services, $44,000. General expenses, $1,580. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Town Clerk Winder, $1,600. That line item has been questioned more over the period of time than any other line item. What did I say? Town. No one winds the town clerk. Town Clock Winder. And there is a question. The chair recognizes if you state your name.
Yep. Hi, Megan Libby Mueller, Victoria Lane. Can you explain this expense?
Chair recognizes Bill Chenard.
Sure. It's a tradition in Massachusetts when you have a town clock that the town pay for the clock winding and maintenance services of that. The town clock is in the center at the First Church, and the town pays the services of the town clock winder. I will, if I may, Mr. Moderator, it is an awesome site. He is awesome, and if you ever want to do that, I would recommend you get in touch with him and take a look at it. It's just incredible. So, thank you.
Chair recognizes former Selectman Bob DiMarzo.
Bob DiMarzo, Stage Stop Lane. Many years ago, this came up, and I had the opportunity to see what the town clock winder does. And it's not sticking a key in and going like this. It's up a ladder like this, over a catwalk, climbing again, doing this. It's a maze to get up there to do it, and they do it I don't know how many times a year. So it's not a simple operation. It's actually somebody needs to be an acrobat.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the town clock winder budget, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. And the clock will continue to be wound. Town Memorial Committee, general expenses, $9,000. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Plymouth County Cooperative, general expenses, $110. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Historical Commission, $850. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Maturing debt principal, general expenses, $1,208,691. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Maturing debt excluded, $2,095,000. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Maturing debt interest, $375,842. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Maturing debt interest, general expenses, $581,126. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Short-term interest, general expenses, $733,158. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Retirement, $5,809,472. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Unemployment compensation, $95,000. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Health insurance, $10,282,016. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Life insurance, $20,000. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Medicare tax, $635,000. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Property and liability insurance, $825,000. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. There were no amendments, so on the main motion by advisory to move the amount of $78,800,000, oh, gosh, can't miss that one. Yeah, I'm sorry. My apologies to members of the school committee. General school funds, $40,005,050. Any discussion? Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Done, right? Okay. So on the main motion of advisory to move the amount of $78,805,048 according to the motion, it's been seconded. If any further discussion, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. So we will move to the high-tech ping pong balls, or not quite ping pong balls, but the first item of business is Article 14. Which is on page 18 of your warrant. And I'm going to stand up so I can. That's Brian, right? The chair recognizes Brian Logan from advisory.
Move that the town vote to amend Article 20, Police Regulations, Section 14A of the town's general bylaws by adding the underlined text and removing the text shown as strike-through as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant under Article 14.
Motion's been made and seconded. I know there are some explanations in some of the warrant articles, but perhaps not all, but this one does have an explanation. Is there any discussion or question on this article? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 25. Chair recognizes Tim Landy.
Move that the town vote to accept as the townway, the roadway known as and shown as Bristol Road, as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant under Article 25.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Linda Peterson moves that the meeting be in a recess. Is there a second? We'll go to the special town meeting next. All those in favor say aye. Moderator can just declare it. Meeting will be in a brief recess, and we will go to the, since it's posted for 7:30, we will go to the articles in the special town meeting warrant, and they are brief. Article 1 is the first item of business. The chair recognizes the chair of the advisory committee, Linda Peterson.
Move that the sum of $244,365 be appropriated from the funds listed to supplemental fiscal year 2025 appropriation in the amount and for the departments listed under Article 1 of the 2025 special town meeting warrant.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion by Linda Peterson, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Next article is Article 2. Chair recognizes Steve Walsh from advisory.
Thank you. Move that the town take no action on Article 2.
Is there a second? Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? On the motion to take no action on Article 2, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I declare it so voted. Article 3. The chair recognizes Liz Bonatti from Advisory.
Mr. Moderator, move that the town take no action on Article 3.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Linda Peterson moves that the special town meeting be adjourned. All those, is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and we'll go back to the lottery. Article 12. Article 12 is on page 13. Chair recognizes Steve Walsh from Advisory.
Thank you. Move that the town vote to approve Article 12 as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant.
Is there any discussion on this matter, which does require a two-thirds vote? So we'll do it by a a show of hands first. If it's close, then we'll do a standing vote. All those in favor of the motion by Steve Walsh, Advisory, on Article 12, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it unanimous, which is better than two-thirds. Article 22.
There was one no.
There was one? Okay. Then the chair is in error. The motion passes having reached the necessary two-thirds necessary for passage. Did I get it right? Okay. And I just drew one and put it back in and didn't look at what the number was. 22. Okay, I did say it. Chair recognizes Andy Wandell from the Planning Board.
Move that the town vote to amend its zoning bylaws, Section 3, Establishment of Districts. 4, Business B District, subparagraph G, by deleting text shown as strike-through and inserting text shown as underlined as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant under Article 22.
Motion's been made and seconded. Chair recognizes Andy Wandell.
Thank you. This change will make the Business B zoned area within the residential commercial district north of Barker Street on Washington Street, Route 53, consistent with the 800-foot setback in the residential commercial district. There are no proposals for any development for this district that is before the town of Pembroke. It is simply a change to provide more setback area for Business B consistent with the setback for the residential commercial district. The public hearing for this article was held on March 3rd, 2025 by the Planning Board.
Any further discussion? This also requires a two-thirds because it is a zoning bylaw change. Chair recognizes.
Hi, I'm Susan Brown from Barker Street. This is the same article that was presented in May of 2022 that we voted down because the big Y was trying to get in there. I understand that you don't have somebody coming in, but we voted no on this article in 2022. So I don't believe it should be presented again.
So, Chair recognizes, so Chair can't compel anyone to answer a question, but it's advisable if someone would respond. But at any rate, Chair recognizes Maria.
Maria Caras, Washington Street. And I'm sorry I didn't come prepared. I kind of worked all day, but she's right. This was brought up many times, and I see a lot of new folks. Then probably a quick history that and something that I wanted to read to everyone. Oh, sure. Sorry. So good evening, everyone, residents and select board and the zoning planning board. This lot that I live actually on the Washington Street side, and the one mentioned, it's behind the, is it Pleasant Street? And so it abuts residential area. And the way it's distributed is it has the commercial residential zoning, which is right behind my property, and it has some part that is residential behind the residence from the Pleasant Street, and it has Business B, which is right across almost, and this is an estimate, obviously, I'm not an expert, but it's in front of the gas station right there by Barker Street. So I had an issue when they were trying to approve permit for a corporation that wanted to come in and do some stuff that was going to harm the noise and the abutters and everybody. That corporation actually paid themselves to have a traffic study. It was not sponsored by the town. So we can only trust that they have the best interests of the people that are going by, and we know how busy Washington Street is. Second, I'm assuming, just like the lady just announced, when you buy a house in the area behind your property is marked by the zoning as residential, you expecting and trusting that the buffer is there to protect you. So what this is doing is, and I'm sorry, I know that many of you may disagree, it sounds to me like it's pot zoning, specifically for this lot. Now, not protecting those neighbors, that I could say, well, it's on the other side, so it's not going to affect me. Everybody's going to get affected. Why? Because if it's rezoned just for a specific type of businesses, we know before it was a big Y, but it was gossip. Nobody ever turned in a proposal, a purchase, a sale agreement that say, hey, everyone, we have the big Y here. It was more of general talk. We have never yet seen anything concrete that it shows us the type of business that they may allow there. So I'm just asking everyone, it makes sense to me, even as a responsible citizen, and I understand that something has to go there because we have many times this type of discussion. But how do we ensure that, obviously trust is an issue, so at least for me, how do we ensure that the right business, the right by the community, the taxpayer goes in there? One, the town should, instead of asking to rezone without knowing what's going there, let's ask for a traffic study that is sponsored by the town, not by the corporation. And two, let's have discussion as to the type of businesses that are being proposed and ensure that the right logic and the right stuff is in place to ensure that nobody's getting impacted. And maybe impacting some people, and it's not about the noise because we know that Washington Street is very noisy. But the type of business that may go in there, if we go and educate ourselves what type of businesses are allowed under zoning B, we just have a gas station across the street, right? So that means that that could go there too. Do we need another one? And you guys are, I'm not due respect, but somebody else might get elected. And if you issue a permit to somebody, hoping that they are ethical and that they abide by that, we are aware of many businesses that are issue permits and that it's very hard to ensure that they comply. So who has time to spend money, by the way, in legal? Pembroke has a long history of issues with zoning-related stuff that has gone through the courts, myself included, and we don't have any more money. That money could be used for something else. So I'm just asking everyone to please, we have the duty to actually understand what we're voting for here. It would impact your neighbors, and if we allow this, it just means that sets precedent that if next year, we're asking to rezone your own house or something behind your house. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Andy Wandel.
Yeah, I just want to clear up some inaccuracies there. This merely brings the setback from 450 feet to 800 feet. It does not change the zone, nor does it change the uses allowed in that zone. So all of the uses that are allowed in that zone will be allowed with this bylaw change as they are today, except the setback will be 800 feet instead of 450 feet to be consistent with the neighboring zones. Another thing I just want to mention, all residential zoning abuts business zoning, and all business zoning in this town abuts residential zoning. So we do the best we can with the planning board. All the uses allowed in Business B, either uses allowed by right or uses allowed by special permit, must go through the site plan process. And the site plan process is under the guidance of the planning board. So there is review, there's public comment, there are public hearings that occur. So a lot of information is presented. If any use that is allowed in that district comes before us, we make sure it goes before the residents in the form of a public hearing, and that the planning board does its work that way.
Chair recognizes Maria. I'm sorry, your last name is Callis?
Karas.
Karas.
Yes,
Karas, right.
thank you. So just to add to what Mr. Wendell has said, the reason that they want to change and extend the Business B all the way till the end, to 800 feet instead of 400 feet, is because a business will have to be very creative to get it approved. They will have to build around it. Right now, the way I explain it, they have residential zoning, Business B zoning, and commercial residential. So if you actually extend the Business B all the way down, that means that they don't have any issues building all the parking lot they want all around the property behind you, just so you guys know. There's a reason why it is the urgent need of changing and the persistence, instead of actually coming up with transparency for the people to understand the type of businesses that could potentially go there. And again, there's trust in who's going to supervise and allowing the power to some corporation to go in there and then build whatever businesses that is going to impact all of us.
Chair recognizes Dan Tribuco of the Board of Selectmen.
Good evening, everyone. So this article was put forward by the planning board, and they held a public hearing on it. The public had a chance to discuss it with them in person, in depth, but that's the planning board. This board, the select board, is more of a political body, and we get calls and requests throughout the community, especially the business community, to become more business friendly in Pembroke, to be more welcoming to businesses. In this article, just as Chairman Wendell has mentioned, creates the same lot line, back lot line, throughout this zone. So that makes it more predictable for a business to come into town. Right now, it's like a patchwork, and it's difficult for a business to actually be placed in certain lots here. So this article advocates for business, for a more business-friendly Pembroke. And the previous speaker's concerns, which are valid, that who is in charge of making sure that these businesses don't come in here and run ramshod over the town of Pembroke? Well, the zoning bylaws do that. The zoning bylaws have the building inspector, the planning board reviewing the plans that come in, and further, the planning board has site plan review, specific site plan, right down to the bushes and the planting, and the traffic control studies of any business that comes into town. So there are controls in place. So I just wanted you to understand that sitting on the select board, I am an advocate of this warrant article.
Chair recognizes former Selectman Bob DiMarzo.
I'm not clear on this, and I hope somebody could clarify it. If I understand correctly, the residential commercial zone is 800 feet deep, and that starts from Mary Lou's all the way north up to 53 to somewhere around Barker Street, whether it's this lady's house or the fire station. Somewhere is that line that becomes Business B. Is that correct? Is it the fire station or is it her house? The fire station? Further north?
Just a reminder, we've got people watching at home, so just ask that if there's an answer to the question, just address it to the chair. Chair recognizes Andy Wandel.
You're right. It does. It starts 100 feet from Herringbrook on the north side, all right? It's between Pleasant Street and Herringbrook, all right? And then it goes to the firehouse. Then it goes back to residence commercial, okay, residential commercial zone. So it's a very narrow part of Route 53 north of Barker Street as Business B. This is not a big district. As a matter of fact, it's a very narrow district. Why it's there, I don't know what the history is there, but it's there, and it's Business B. If you want to follow the residential commercial district from that point, you go all the way down to Taylor Street and up and down on both sides of Route 53 at a depth of 800 feet, it is residential commercial from Barker Street all the way down to Taylor Street.
That
Chair recognizes Bob DeMarza.
That Business B section, a lot of Business B, has kind of been a strange zoning and an anomaly in the town. It's been modified a few times. It's not really easy to do anything in there. But if I understand correctly, we're starting from Congress Street. We're going 800 feet all the way. We back off a little bit to 450, and you just want to continue it to Pleasant, so it's a straight shot all the way.
Chair recognizes Andy Wandel.
No, the Business B zone remains the same size. It goes from 100 feet south of Herringbrook to the firehouse and stops, all right? That piece, that district is only 450
Right.
deep, all right? So what we're proposing is to make it consistent with the residential commercial district, which is 800 feet deep. And if you want to talk about parking, that's a good thing to talk about, because parking in the residential commercial zone for some of the businesses that have gone there, specifically dishes, is way inadequate for the uses that are already happening on those sites. So to attract a business to that Business B zone, for the uses allowed, to have a little bit more depth that would allow some more parking space is desirable for a business, and they wouldn't have to squeeze their parking in there. So yes, it is a business-friendly change to the bylaw. We can't have it both ways. We can't say we want more business in town, and then when we say we want a modest change in the zoning bylaw, say no to it. So this is an attempt to take some of the information that we uncovered in the master plan this year, which was comprehensive, and this is a very small step. It is not a big move, and it does add some consistency, at least to that zone in that area.
So I agree.
So we need to allow other people to address the issue who have been standing. So the chair would recognize Tom, it's Tom, right? Tom Wilkinson?
Yes, sir. Tom Wilkinson. I'm on Water Street. I'm confused. No businesses want to do anything there now. So preemptively, you want to zone it. And what businesses have came and asked for you guys to use that now? It seems to me that the people in the community have already voiced their opinion. Why can't we wait to see what businesses want before we make it business friendly for the people that live here? So we're putting the cart before the horse. I mean, the people that live here, I mean, am I missing something?
Chair recognizes, recognizes Andy Wandel.
Yeah, yes, I think you're missing a big piece of it. The big piece is, if it's not zoned properly for business, business won't look at it. So we'll get 0 proposals for business in that zone.
You know, I can't allow.
Yep.
No.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes, state your name.
My name is Paige Graziano. I live on Lake Street. The growth of Pembroke is certainly a difficult subject for all of us. We'd like to retain our personal charm and the reasons we all came here. But on the other hand, we want to be able to offer services. All of us in the past few years have been discussing the effects of our budgeting process and the finances of our town on our wallets. And we have a couple of big things coming up, especially with the school system, that if we want to be able to offer things like vocational education to our students and not price seniors out of their homes, we have to be willing to start making some adjustments so that tax income will come from people other than us. Yes. So we need to find balance there, and I certainly respect this woman's concern about her home. We have a similar situation with 40B near me. We need to find ways to offer moderation so we can grow, but also pay for what we need to pay for and not price our seniors out.
So we're going to try to do this in the order in which people stood up. So I'll stay on this side and ask you to just state your name.
Evan Payne, High Street. I have a general question. Does this 800 feet of depth come at the cost of either wildlands or conservation land or forest land that's currently there that's going to be chopped down for a parking lot? Also, if we want to be more inviting to businesses in the community and get more money from taxes, shouldn't we be voting for marijuana dispensaries in the town to be contributing to that?
I think you get your chance on that one. Andy, do you want to address that? The chair recognizes Andy Wandell.
Conservation land piece, it's all private residential and the residential.
Thank you.
So the chair will go next door here. Not previously having spoken. If you could state your name. Yes, you.
Stefan Savoya. I live at 187 Washington Street. I've been in town now for 34 years, I guess. I guess I'm going to ask, who says we need more business in town? Because who is a phrase that really isn't very accurate. It's like the sky is falling. Nobody, you got to give me some information about who says that and why. I happen to be elderly. I'm 72 years old, and I'm able to handle my taxes, which have gone up about 600% since I moved in here. I do think that we should have some consistency in zoning, but I don't think we should willy-nilly make a decision about zoning that really isn't something that's on the boilerplate right now. As I agree with the statement that was said, we don't know who's going to come in there, who wants to come in there. The town of Pembroke, which is the residents of Pembroke, should be able to make a decision about which business is right and not right. I don't want to hang up a sign that says, oh, bring your business in. We don't care if you do toxic waste or philanthropy. Come on in. I don't think this is an issue that should be dealt with this much time. Why change it when we don't have a specific reason to change it right now?
Chair recognizes. I can't move the question from the floor. You have to come up to the microphone and move the question. Chair recognizes, I'm sorry for getting your name already, but.
Susan Brown from Barker Street.
Susan.
I do believe that we would benefit from businesses in this town to help with our taxes. However, I really think that we don't need big box stores. I want to know if there's a way that we can put an amendment in there where we can limit the size of retail space, maybe to like 35,000 square feet or even 50,000 square feet, so we don't end up with a large 100,000 plus square foot building there. It would be detriment to the area to have a building that big in that area. And so I would like to recommend that we vote no on this and have it changed to have a clause in there on the size of the building that could be there. Thank you.
Chair recognizes, not previously haven't spoken.
Hi, Robert Belay from Hickory Lane. So first of all, on businesses viewing properties, major retailers like CVS, Walgreens, my family worked for them. They spend 20, 30, 40 years just scouring the country looking for properties. And they'll sit and wait on a property for 20 or 30 years before they make an acquisition. And they'll know properties are available. So to say that, these companies don't know it's even an available option, trust me, they know. Big businesses, they all know. They have lawyers, they have surveyors, they have all these departments. Second, we've already seen our town center, pristine location, easy accessible, central, Stop and Shop, Massachusetts-based company, couldn't even do 12 years. Couldn't even make it, right? So we already know that it's kind of a no-point void on that for a bigger store. I mean, 800 feet, we're talking longer than 2 football fields with end zones. Even further, right? Further. And third, can we just motion to vote on this? Just to speed it up.
So the practice, which has been in the past and will continue, and someone tried to move the motion, you have to stand at the microphone to make the motion to move the question, which would go right to, if it's approved, would go right to the vote. But you can't do it after you speak, because it's like closing the barn door after you.
All right.
So,
well, thank you for your time.
Not previously having spoken, the chair recognizes Steve Walsh from Advisory Committee.
Can we move the question?
There we go. So the motion to move the question is not debatable. It's been seconded, right? Okay. And so if it passes, and we'll try it with a show of hands, we'll go right to the main motion, which was made by Andy Wandell from the Planning Board. So on the motion to move the question, all those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. So we go right to the question, and this does require a 2/3. So we'll try it first with a show of hands, and if it's not clear, then we'll have to go to a standing vote. So on the motion to approve Article 22, made by Andy Wandell, Chair of the Planning Board, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. All those opposed? The noes have it, and I declare it lost. Next article is the consent agenda. And once again, a number of years ago, this meeting passed, previous town meeting passed a bylaw change that allows us to combine non-controversial articles into one vote. But that is your decision. If you wish to take one of them out of order, that is your prerogative. So the first motion to take any article out of order, according to our bylaws, requires a 4/5. So in order to take up the consent agenda, we require a 4/5. So all those who would like to take up Articles 6, 7, 8, 26, and 27 out of order, and if you choose not to, you can do that. But all those who want to take them together as one, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. The ayes have it. So we will take up Articles 6, 7, 8, 26, and 27. You have them in your book. Once again, the Select Board and the clerk and the moderator have determined that these are non-controversial items. They're on every town meeting warrant. So the chair recognizes Sandy Beaton from Advisory.
Move that the town take Articles 6, 7, 8, 26, and 27 out of order and that they be passed by consent in accordance with the motion shown on the consent agenda distributed this evening.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Sandy's motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 23 is the next item of business. Page 26 of the warrant. The chair recognizes Andy Wandell from the Planning Board.
Move that the town vote to amend its zoning bylaws, Section 2, definitions, Section 4, use and dimensional regulations, and Section 6, administration for the purpose of defining and adding a new use, public utility, to be allowed by special permit from the Planning Board in the Residence A, Residential Commercial, Business District A, and Center Protection Districts, and to authorize the Planning Board to grant waivers related to same by adding text shown as underlined as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant under Article 23.
Motion's been made and seconded. Chair recognizes Andy Wandell.
So this will make public utilities an allowed use with a special permit in all zoning districts. Special permit granting authority will provide the Planning Board with site plan approval, thus giving it the oversight to protect abutters and meet the town's best interests. Without such uses allowed, a public utility can bypass local zoning and go directly to the state for approval without any input from the Planning Board. The public hearing for this article was held on March 3rd, 2025 by the Planning Board. And just another piece of information is most of the surrounding towns around us have this as a use allowed in all of their zoning districts for precisely the reason that they want some control over the site plan.
Any further discussion on this matter? This does require a 2/3, so we'll first try it with a show of hands. All those in favor of the motion for Article 23, please raise your hands. Opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted, having reached the necessary 2/3 necessary for passage. And the chair would mention that As of a little while ago, we had 309 voters who checked in. Our quorum is 150. That's awesome. That's a little higher than average, I think. So again, thank you for being here. Article 21 is the next item. On page 25 of the warrant, the chair once again recognizes Andy Wandel from the Planning Board.
Okay, this is a majority vote. You just want to remind the moderator.
Yes.
Move that the town vote to amend its zoning bylaws by amending provisions applicable to accessory dwelling units and related sections thereto to be consistent with the Massachusetts Affordable Homes Act by deleting language shown as strike-through and inserting text shown as underlined as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant under Article 21.
Motion's been made and seconded. The chair recognizes Andy Wandel.
So this amends our current accessory dwelling unit bylaw to comply with state law and makes the following changes. So we already have an ADU bylaw on our books, but to comply with state law, we're making the following changes. ADUs are allowed by right. You simply pull a building permit. No special permit is required. The size of an accessory dwelling unit is 1/2 of the existing home square footage, or 900 square feet, whichever is smaller. For example, if your current home is 1,500 square feet, a 750 square foot ADU is allowed. If it's 2,000 square foot, the ADU is limited to 900 square feet. The units do not need to be owner-occupied, nor do they have to be rented to blood relatives. Both attached and detached ADUs are allowed. And the public hearing for this article was held on March 3rd, 2025 by the Planning Board.
Is there any discussion or questions? Seeing none, all those, and this is simple majority, all those in favor of the motion made by Andy Wandel, please raise your hand. Opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Before we go to the next article, the chair was remiss, meant to mention at the beginning, one of the consent items was the town election, which is traditionally part of the warrant. There is an election on Saturday, and the chair would just like to recognize the town clerk, interim town clerk, Andrea McKettrick, just to explain early voting ends tomorrow, and she can explain when the voting hours are and when the polls are open.
Am I? Okay. So yeah, early voting is going to continue till tomorrow, till 4:30. If people do have the opportunity to absentee vote if they're going to be out of town. So there's very specific requirements for absentee voting past Wednesday, but that will be still available if anybody discovers they will not be in town. Otherwise, then Saturday, May 17th, all 5 precincts are going to go to the community center, and we're going to be open from 9 to 5. And if people have requested a ballot to be mailed to them, they have to return their ballot by 5 o'clock on Election Day.
All right, vote early and often. It's a Saturday. Next item on my business is Article 29, and the chair recognizes Rich Flynn from Board of Selectmen.
I move that the town vote to revoke Section 26, reduction of single-use plastic bags in Town of Pembroke, Article 23 of town's general bylaws.
Is there a second? Motion's been made and seconded. The chair recognizes Rich Flynn.
You know, it just seems unreasonable that everything in the supermarket is either wrapped in plastic, filled with plastic, shipped in plastic, and there's a lot of people that find this very inconvenient to walk out of there with a paper bag and not have handles, myself included, but I've gotten some calls about this, and there's a lot of studies actually that show that people buy more bags when they don't get plastic bags because they do use them multiple times. And this doesn't exclude anybody from bringing their own bags in as well. So you can still do that, but give the citizens the convenience of the plastic bags.
Chair recognizes
Melissa Killam, 207 Edgewater Drive, Pembroke.
I'm here to speak to you as a private citizen to urge you to not repeal Pembroke's plastic bag ban. Single-use plastic bags are a major source of PFAS, forever chemicals, which contaminate our drinking water. Studies including one by the EPA, link plastic waste to PFAS leaching into soil and waterways. The ban has also reduced roadside litter and storm drainage blockages. According to Mass DEP, plastic bags are among the top contaminants in municipal recycling and trash systems, costing towns like ours time and money. This ban is a simple, effective measure that protects public health, the environment, and saves the taxpayers in the long run. Let's not move backwards. Please vote to keep the ban in place. Thank you.
We'll try to alternate between microphones, and I'm forgetting your name already. The chair recognizes.
She was here before.
Oh, well, you're very gracious. I think, go ahead.
Nicole Leidick, Wampatuck Street. I stand here as a resident as well as a volunteer for the town's Recycling and Sustainability Committee. Our committee met last week and we discussed this. I presented to them information that I have from our 2024 audit of our recycling. And though we have done very well since the plastic ban, we are still above the 2021 goal our committee had of a 10% contamination rate. Currently, we are at 13%, which means that we are paying in our trash bills more money to take care of these contaminants. We're charged per ton of contaminant, and that's over 10%. So our goal is 10% contaminant. If we reintroduce plastic bags, they're going to end up again in our recycling bins. Every time these plastics, these thin plastic bags end up in our recycling, not our center, but the South Shore Recycling Cooperative at Waste Management, they clog the machines, it stops production, it costs everyone money. Now, we all need to know too, this isn't tax money, this is our trash bill. And we're paying more and more for these contaminants because we're breaking down the system. Again, we've done extraordinarily well over the years that we have had this plastic bag ban in place. And I fear that as soon as they are welcome in our shops and towns again, we're going to see them on the side of the road again. We're going to have more contamination in our recycling, and we are going to pay more, not only in litter reduction initiatives, but also on our regular trash bills. I please urge you to vote no, do not repeal this bylaw. Thank you.
Chair recognizes
Evan Payne from High Street. I just want to second everything that Mrs. Leidick said and urge everybody to not repeal this ban. It bioaccumulates in your body. It's only reducible by women when they either breastfeed or give birth to children. That's the only way that you can get this chemical out of your body. You know, microplastics are being found by scientists all in our bodies, in our brains, in our reproductive organs. I just think this is a really terrible idea, and I urge everybody to vote no, not to repeal it.
Chair recognizes
Katrina Delaney at 47 Wintergreen Farm Road. Thank you. Continuing the reduction of single-use plastics through upholding our plastic bag ban is essential to protecting Pembroke's environment, preserving our town's natural beauty, and minimizing the harmful impacts of plastic pollution on wildlife and local waterways. Maintaining our plastic bag ban is not only about sustainability, it's about safeguarding our shared resources and showing that Pembroke leads by example. Our town's rich history is deeply connected to our ponds, rivers, and streams. Places like Oldham Pond are not only recreational treasures, they're ecologically critical, serving as spawning areas for alewives that travel up Herring Brook from the North River. Protecting these ecosystems means protecting what makes Pembroke unique. Nothing we use for an average of 6 minutes should pollute our environment for centuries. Single-use plastic bags have a fleeting utility but a lasting impact. They litter our parks and open spaces, choke marine animals, and waste millions of gallons of petroleum, one of their main ingredients. Plastic bags take out about 300 years to photodegrade in landfills, breaking down into microplastics that contaminate our water, soil, and food chain. These microplastics have been found in drinking water at levels higher than 1,154 particles per liter and are now present in human organs, blood, lungs, breast milk, placentas, the human brain, and fetal circulation. Plastic bags also contain toxic chemicals such as BPA, phthalates, and PFAS, forever chemicals. These substances are known as endocrine disruptors and carcinogens linked to cancers, reproductive issues, and neurological disorders, also immune system impairment. Studies shows that PFAS is present in 57% of plastic bags tested, and these chemicals persist in our environment and bioaccumulate in the human body. Since Pembroke enacted the bag ban in 2019, led by our students at Pembroke High School, PFAS detections in our public water supplies dropped from over 200 instances in 2021 to under 60 in 2024, suggesting that reducing plastic waste directly benefits our drinking water quality. Plastic bags also clog storm drains and water systems, creating stagnant water that breeds pathogens like E. coli and Salmonella, increasing the risk of waterborne diseases. Plastic bags are a major threat to wildlife. Nearly 700 aquatic species have been affected by microplastic ingestion, leading to development issues as well as higher pollutant absorption. Marine animals and birds often mistake plastic bags for food or become entangled in them. Injury or death is estimated at 100,000 marine mammals each year. Our river and pond animals are not immune to this threat. Repealing this plastic bag ban could also lead to increased costs for residents. Oh, okay. Plastic bags frequently jam recycling machinery, as the person before me spoke about, contributing to contamination fines and additional sorting costs. Pembroke households already pay around $400 annually for trash or recycling services. Lifting the ban could drive up costs by increasing the recycling contamination, leading to audits and potentially higher fees. More than 70% of Massachusetts residents already live in one of the 160 plus towns and cities that have passed local laws regulating plastic bags. Our neighbors, including Plymouth, Duxbury, Marshfield, and Bridgewater, have all implemented bans. There are currently 6 bills under consideration in the state legislature, including Bill H933, which would enact a statewide ban. It does not make sense for Pembroke to move backwards, forcing our businesses to revert to plastic, enact new processes, and purchase new bags, only to have that change again if a statewide ban were to take effect in the next year or two. It would create needless whiplash for both our residents and our business owners. Some argue that many grocery items are already packaged in plastic bags, so banning bags won't make a difference. In reality, plastic bags are amongst the highest volume single-use plastics, with 5 trillion used annually worldwide. Banning them is a logical and effective starting point for reducing overall plastic waste. Studies show that bans can eliminate approximately 300 plastic bags per person annually.
Chair, okay. So there is no limit on time. So the chair would just ask that you be respectful of the speakers. We have a lot of people who want to speak. The chair would also maybe advise the speaker that you could wrap it up as quick as possible. But
So I think it makes sense to not remove the ban. And also, I would just like to say that I plan to give respect to every speaker who's here, and I would think that most people would want to do the same. So thank you so much.
Chair recognizes Rich Flynn of the Board of Selectmen, who is also one of the main petitioners of the article.
Motion to move the question.
Okay, well, that's in order. So the motion has been made to move the question. If it passes, we will go right to the main motion. It's non-debatable, although all those in favor of moving the question, please raise your hand. Opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. My apologies to those who've been standing up there, but that's the way it works. So we'll go to the main motion by Rich Flynn on Article 29. It just takes a majority vote. So all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Please state your point of order.
Could you let us know what the article exactly what we're going to vote on? I believe the motion was to...
Thank you for the clarification, because there may be some confusion. The motion is to revoke the plastic ban. So favorable action, a vote yes, would support eliminating the ban. A vote no would keep the present ban in place. Did I summarize that correctly, Rich? Okay, thank you. Thank you for your point of order. All those in favor of the motion as moved by Rich Flynn, please raise your hand. All those opposed? The noes have it, and I declare it lost. Next item of business is Article 17. And the chair recognizes Fraser Townley from the Town Bylaw Study Committee. Did I get that correct? Was I
Correct.
close?
Yeah.
So the chair just wants to mention, I've got a list somewhere, but there has been a committee that has been reviewing the town bylaws, which should be done every so often and is a tedious task. And those members are Rich Flynn, Scott, I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce your name, Shaharan? Okay, great. Fraser, who's about to speak, Alicia Siciliano Perry from the Planning Board, and Jane Kernan. And they've done great work over a number of years, I think it's been. And there are several articles that have been proposed by the Bylaw Committee. So the Chair just wanted to recognize their work and thank them. Chair recognizes Fraser Townley.
Move that the town vote to amend its general bylaws by adding a new Section 27, Article 23, miscellaneous, entitled Elimination of Black Plastic in Restaurant Carryout Packaging, as printed in the 2025 Annual Town Meeting Warrant under Article 17.
Motion's been made and seconded, so we go to plastic bags to black plastic. Chair recognizes Fraser. Did you want to address the article? Chair recognizes Fraser Townley.
So the purpose of this bylaw change is to eliminate the black plastic waste which our recycling can't cope with. The town receives fines when black plastic is attempted to be recycled. It cannot be recycled. There is also a second health benefit from not having black plastic. Black plastic is made from e-waste, which contains all sorts of chemicals that are fire retardant. They come from electrical products which have to self-extinguish if there's a short in the product. And that's great if you're an electrical product, but when that's broken down and it's put into the food packaging, it leaches into our food. That leaching occurs mostly when you either freeze a product or you reheat it through a microwave, which is pretty much what we all do with our food packaging, carry-out packaging. We actually did this study over a year ago, and the bylaw committee realized that we needed to be fair to the businesses in town. And we wrote to all the businesses and we said, all the restaurants, and explained our fears and our concerns, both from a cost point of view and a health point of view. So we've given the businesses a year, and with this warrant change, we will be giving them additional time to change policies and change processes. The actual costs will not change for them, as our understanding. Okay.
Is there any further discussion on this matter, which requires a simple majority vote? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion made by Fraser, please raise your hand. Opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 15. It's on page 19 of the warrant. Chair recognizes Liz Benatti from advisory.
Mr. Moderator, move that the town vote to amend Article 20, Police Regulations, Section 14B of the town's general bylaws by deleting the text shown as strike-through as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant under Article 15.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I can usually be
state your
heard if
name,
I just
state your
stand
name.
up where I am, but Matthew McNeely, High Street East, Pembroke.
Former member of the advisory committee and
Former
chair.
member of the advisory committee. I would just simply ask, I see that we're deleting a whole section. I would just ask simply why. I understand we're moving forward on something else, but I'd like to know why.
Chair recognizes Bill Chenard.
Because it violates state statute. It violates state statute, right? Yeah. You can consume marijuana and possess marijuana in Massachusetts, so we can't have a bylaw that cites a citation under state statute that doesn't exist.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion made by advisory, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 24. Page 27. These are the various projects that, if it is your will be funded from the CPC funds. And so there are, I think, 5 of them. And
Yes, Mr. Moderator.
we will take them each individually as a separate item. So for purposes of Article 24, Recommendation A, the chair recognizes still the chair, correct?
Yes.
Of the CPC?
Unfortunately. I'm sorry, that was out loud, my bad.
Lisa Cullity.
Mr. Moderator, on recommendation A, move to appropriate the sum of $500,000 from the Community Preservation Fund, undesignated reserve fund for recreational purposes, and that said funds be granted to the school superintendent for the preservation, rehabilitation, and restoration of the playground at Hobbamock Elementary School.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion by Lisa, please raise your hand. Opposed, no, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Recommendation B, the chair recognizes Lisa Cullity, and the chair would also add that this town is fortunate that you're still chair of the CPC.
Okay, recommendation B, move to appropriate the sum of $20,000 from the Community Preservation Fund, undesignated reserve fund, for recreational purposes, and that said funds be granted to the Kiwanis Club for the preservation, rehabilitation, and restoration of the Kiwanis building at the Herring Run Park. And for those that don't know, yes, it is the Live Edge wood building that we see there, and yes, they're going to do a similar treatment to it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Recommendation C, chair recognizes Lisa Cullity.
Recommendation C, move to appropriate the sum of $110,000 from the Community Preservation Fund, undesignated reserve fund, for the recreational purposes, and that said funds be granted to the Community Services Director for the creation of a new playground at the community center.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 24, Recommendation D, the chair recognizes Lisa Cullity.
Move to appropriate the sum of $50,000 from the Community Preservation Fund, reserve fund for recreational purposes, to be granted to the Community Services Director for supplemental funding for the preservation, rehabilitation, and restoration of Magoon Park.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Recommendation E, Chair recognizes Lisa Colity.
Move to appropriate the sum of $21,000 from the Community Preservation Fund Historical Resources Reserve for the historical preservation purposes to be granted to the town manager for the preservation, rehabilitation, restoration of the entry and the porch at the Lydia Drake Library.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 28. And the chair recognizes the main petitioner for the article, Maureen J.C.
Move that the town vote to discontinue the fluoridation of the public water supply in the town of Pembroke as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant under Article 28.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. The chair recognizes Maureen J.C.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Good evening, everyone. My name is Maureen J.C., and I'm here to ask for the support of Article 28 to remove fluoride from our drinking water. The Board of Health has unanimously voted to stop fluoridation. What we're putting in our water is hydrofluorosilicic acid, typically sourced from phosphate fertilizer production. It's not added to treat the water, but to administer a one-size-fits-all dosage to everyone in Pembroke to prevent dental cavities. Is this informed choice or freedom of choice? This practice may have made sense in the 1960s, but today we know better. People now receive fluoride through topical measures such as toothpaste, mouth rinse, and professional dental care. We cannot control individual amounts through the water supply. And vulnerable populations like infants, people with kidney disease, and elderly are especially at risk. Some of the key potential risks associated with excessive fluoride consumption are dental fluorosis, skeletal fluorosis, thyroid issues, and most importantly, neurological effects. Emerging science raises serious red flags. Peer-reviewed studies, including those supported by NIH, have linked prenatal fluoride exposure to reduced IQ in children. These concerns are central in the ongoing Food and Water Watch versus EPA federal case. Where leading scientists are challenging the safety of fluoridation under the Toxic Substance Control Act. Expert testimony has warned that fluoride may be a neurotoxic even at levels currently used in the water supply. This isn't alarmism, it's due diligence. If there's credible evidence of harm, especially to children's developing brains, we have a responsibility to act. Let's stop using our drinking water as a delivery system for industrial discharge. Let's choose a topical and more available modern option to continue promoting dental health. Please vote yes on Article 28. Thank you. Mr. Moderator, if possible, I would like to ask to move to allow a non-resident, Dan McDonough, to speak, who generated the open letter to our town. Thank you.
So the way this goes is it's a provision in our bylaw that allows non-residents to speak if you allow them, and it takes a simple majority. So Maureen has made the motion to allow, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name.
Dan McDonough is a resident of Hanson, and he wrote an open letter to our board, which generated this topic being investigated.
Maureen has made the motion to allow Dan McDonough from Hanson to speak. I'm sorry. Motion's been seconded. All those in favor of allowing him to speak, please raise your hand. Opposed, please raise your hand. The noes have it. Before we continue, first of all, the chair would just mention we have three petition. We've dealt with, what, all three now, or at least two or three petition articles on the warrant, different subjects, which in the chair's opinion is awesome. They're placed there by you, the voters, getting enough signatures and approved by or allowed on by the Board of Selectmen. Sometimes these petition articles can get a little bit tricky. and this is one of them. And so the chair would like to recognize Town Council Carolyn Murray from KP Law just to explain exactly the parameters and what this article would allow and what it wouldn't allow. Chair recognizes Carolyn Murray.
It's already on. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Just by way of background, so that folks understand, cities and towns really only have the power that the state legislature gives us to exercise. One of the powers that is vested with the Board of Health under Chapter 111, Section 8C, is the power of a local Board of Health to order that levels of fluoride in your public water supply be increased. There's also a process that if the Board of Health issues such an order and they publicize notice of that order to increase fluoride levels, that there's a process for the voters to circulate a petition and request a ballot question, essentially granting the voters of the town a limited veto power over that fluoridation question. What might sound a little bit crazy is the fact that the legislature has not passed a similar statute addressing how fluoride may be decreased or how fluoride might be eliminated altogether, as is what is being proposed this evening. In looking at the case law on this topic, there are two cases that have gone up to the highest court in Massachusetts, and in both of those communities, the method that was followed was they petitioned the legislature for an act of special legislation to place a question on the ballot so that all the voters of the town got to weigh in on whether or not fluoride, once it has been added to your water, can then be removed from the water. This is a practice that has been followed in other communities subsequent to this case law. So with all due respect to the petitioners on this article, nowhere in that statutory scheme that I just outlined for you does town meeting have a vote in this process. Believe me, I'm a municipal attorney. I love town meeting. I mean no disrespect to this body, but this is one of those instances where you simply don't have a role. I don't want people leaving here tonight thinking that their vote tonight was anything more than a non-binding advisory, question that the powers that be in the town can decide to do with what they will. But as it stands before you, this can have nothing more than a non-binding effect. Thank you.
Chair recognizes, is it Melissa?
That's
And you have
correct.
to remind me of your last name.
Yep, Melissa Killam, 207 Edgewater Drive. I appreciate the council's information, but I'd still like to state my support in leaving fluoride in the water. So I strongly oppose the proposal to remove fluoride in Pembroke's water. Pembroke's been fluoridating its water since 1969. We have over 50 years of consistent science-based public health protection. The fluoride we use is actually sodium fluoride. It is added at levels that are carefully monitored and maintained within safe limits as set by both state and federal health authorities. Water fluoridation is a proven and cost-effective public health measure that prevents tooth decay in children and adults. Decades of research, including studies reviewed by the CDC, show that community fluoridation reduces cavities by about 25% across all age groups. And this is in addition to fluoride toothpaste utilization and other sealants. The CDC has even named it as one of the 10 greatest public health achievements of the 20th century. Removing fluoride would put our residents, especially children, seniors, and low-income families who may not have access to regular dental care, at greater risk for dental disease. The decision to end fluoridation should not be based on misinformation or fear, but on science, data, and a shared commitment to the health of our community. Let's continue Pembroke's long-standing tradition with protecting public health. Please vote to keep fluoride in our water, and please, and that's all. I appreciate you listening. Thank you.
We'll go to the other side. The chair recognizes if you state your name.
Mariel McCann, 94 Pleasant Street. One thing that I have not heard anything about is what the health department is looking for to do for the dental care in place of. I hear we want to just remove this. I would assume that they should have already known about the legalities and the cases going forward already, but they don't, and they have no plan to help kids that, my kids are old enough, it's not an issue for me, I don't care what you do, but this just feels silly.
So I promised after about 30 years I'd remember your name, and I'm forgetting it
James
again.
Kincaid.
James Kincaid. The chair recognizes James Kincaid.
I'm 80 years old. I've lived in Pembroke for 50 years. I'm still alive, and the fluoride didn't kill me yet.
Can we move the question, please?
Chair recognizes the speaker.
I'm Roy Dirksmeyer. I live on Plymouth Street, and I wanted to make 3 points. So first, I'm a doctor of pharmacy. I'm a healthcare provider. I want to point out that while this is unanimously agreed upon by our Board of Health, the Pembroke Board of Health has 0 members that have healthcare experience and 0 members that have public health experience. So take that with a grain of salt. Secondly, this is just a frivolous attempt to pull this town one step closer on a certain side of this ongoing culture war. Because no one that's putting this forward actually cares about the negative impact of what's in our water on our kids' health. So the most recent water report in Pembroke had 3 times the highest level allowed of chromium, 6 times the highest level allowed of manganese, 3 times the highest level allowed of iron. But no one's here talking about the clinical studies behind chromium and iron or anything else. They're talking about fluoride, which every study that if you actually read the details shows 0 negative effect below 4 milligrams per liter, which is the maximum allowed level in Pembroke today. The last point I wanted to make, because I can go into the clinical stuff, but I know the point's been well made and we can go back and forth on that, but there's a financial impact here that's going to impact all of us. So first, every parent of young kids, if we make this change, that wants to give their kids fluoride is going to have to go out and buy their own fluoride supplement tablets, which cost $20 per month per kid. I have 3 kids under the age of 6. So you just raised my healthcare costs by about $800 per year. So thank you very much for that. Second, those that choose not to give their kids fluoride are going to be at about a 60% increase of cavities. So the average cavity costs about, I don't know, $500 to $500 is a wide range per tooth. So that's all the cost that this town will be incurring if you're a parent. Second, the community is going to suffer too because all that cost is going out of our community. There's 0 independent pharmacies in Pembroke. So all those fluoride tablets are filled by CVS, Stop and Shop, 2 national corporations. There's also 0 pediatric dentists in Pembroke. So everyone that actually has to go and get their kids' cavities fixed have to go to Hanover or Marshfield. So money is funneling out of our communities. And last, this would be a move that sends a strong message to people that have young families or are starting families that are looking for houses in Pembroke. It shows that we don't care about you. We care about a political ideology. So when you go to sell your house at some point, good luck trying to find a young family that's going to buy it because they're going to say Pembroke doesn't care about you. Thank you.
Chair. Chair recognizes Bob DiMarzo, former chair.
Bob DiMarzo, Stage Stop Lane. Lot to say. I agree with this article. I've lived in this town 48 years, had fluoride. I've had fluoride in other communities I've moved into, and I've sent a lot of dentists on vacation. Can anybody here that says we should keep this tell me they don't have any cavities? That their children do not have any cavities? As far as tablets, this is what really hit me about this. We're saying that drinking that water like that is going to solve our cavities. Well, I just had an implant started, or getting started, after going through the whole routine, cavity, the this, the that, and so on. And the specialist gave me something. He says, well, you might have something going on again. And I'm prescribing dental gel, 1.1% gel. The instructions are, brush 3 times a day, do not rinse. And this is not a tablet. I don't know how a tablet is going to help you with your teeth when it goes down your gut. And we're not talking about what the effects are in your stomach when we talk about trash bags and how that leaches into it. So it says, do not rinse, drink, or eat for 30 minutes. So you're supposed to brush. In order to have that fluoride, special fluoride, effective on your teeth, brush and don't drink or eat and let it sit there for 30 minutes. Yet we're saying that we're solving all the problems of our town, and nobody's going to move into this town because we don't have fluoride, where all the other surrounding towns don't have fluoride, and that one drink is the thing that's going to save your children's teeth? I don't think so. So don't knock the proponent. Give it some thought and look at your own self. Say, do we have teeth? Do we have cavities? Do our children have cavities? Or is it all gone? And I don't think it's all gone, and I think we should get rid of it. Thank you.
Chair recognizes, I recognize you, but I just can't remember your name.
Hi, I'm Jane Cornyn. I'm on Water Street, and I think it was ridiculous to think of this as a political move. When we know better, we do better. And the most recent, most extensive studies, including a 6-year Cochrane review, show that fluoride has a negative effect on children's IQ. It is even at the current recommended levels of 0.7, which we've gone over that many times lately. Populations most affected are pregnant women and babies. I think it's time that we look out for pregnant women and babies, and the babies' brains are affected. And thinking about the finances of the town, if we have this information now and a pregnant mother has a baby with a disability, I would sue. If I'm in a town that won't remove the fluoride and we know it hurts the baby's brains, that is an absolute possibility. I'd also like to mention that the CDC has acknowledged that fluoride has no systemic effect, that they used to think that it affects the buds of the teeth before the baby was born, and that has been disproven 100%. The majority of Massachusetts towns do not put fluoride, and there are 6 states that have removed fluoride and banned it over the past couple years because of these studies. 99% of the fluoride is flushed into the environment, and it harms plants, aquatic life, and soil. And there is a 4% correlation for every I don't know what it's considered, milligram, half a milligram raise in the fluoride, there's 4 IQ points that have been proven in tests. So it is just something, how about we look out for the children?
The chair.
And I would like to finally say that brains, I would assume that everybody that pays for dental care would rather pay for dentists than a neurologist or a brain surgeon.
The chair is very pleased to recognize the next speaker, who was on the Board of Selectmen in the late 60s. Ed, did I get that right? Still a regular at town meeting and engaged and often speaks. Chair recognizes former Select Board member Ed Quill.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Moderator. Just so happens about 54 years ago, I was chairman of the board, and so I was asked to study fluoride and then get up and either be for it or against it. Well, I ended up for it, and I had to get up in town meeting and speak about it. The major thing that it was against it back then was they thought it was a communist. The communists were after us, and this is one way of getting into our blood system and so forth. But in any case, I have to say, I have 5 daughters growing up in the town, and to this day, they have pretty good teeth. And fluoride's pretty good for you all around. I just want to get up and say that. It's turned out to be okay.
Chair recognizes Debbie Flanagan.
Thank you. Beach Road.
I appreciate if you could just listen to this, because the more I learned about fluoridated water, the more concerned I became. The fluoride that's added to our water is actually corrosive, and I'm not sure if you all know this, but the town employees that are putting it in our water system are actually wearing hazmat suits when they're handling it. And there is a cost to the town and thousands of dollars, but the real cost is in the health of our citizens, especially the most vulnerable ones, the infants, the children, the pregnant mothers, the seniors, those with diabetes, kidney disease, like my husband, and thyroid conditions. Hundreds of studies have been conducted over the last couple of decades. Unfortunately, they haven't really received any notice until very recently. They've been conducted by the National Institute of Health, National Research Council, Harvard, and others, and they've discovered very frightening links to lower IQ in children in point ranges of 4, 7, 9 points, 300% higher rates of ADHD, and higher rates of autism in populations that fluoridate their water. And if that isn't alarming to you, then I'm not quite sure what would alarm you. So they are seeing statistical significant differences in populations that are fluoridating their water compared to populations that are not. Overfluoridation is also linked to dementia, osteoporosis, and hypothyroidism. There's also a list of other diseases I'm not going to get into. There are those who have poked holes in the studies that I refer to on social media, yet the studies have provided sufficient evidence to satisfy a very recent 80-page landmark ruling against the EPA. It was actually September 24th, 2024, challenging the entire foundation of the fluoridation of public water. A U.S. District Court judge ruled that the national standard of 0.7 milligrams per liter poses an unreasonable risk of reduced IQ in children. We all run the risk of overexposure from fluoridated water. Fluoride is also found in our food and beverages, as well as in our toothpaste, in dental treatments. The fluoride in public water used by municipalities is not naturally occurring. It's a byproduct from fertilizer manufacturing. We are now seeing statewide legislation to stop water fluoridation. Utah became the first state to ban it, and Florida has just become the second very recently. Among developed countries, most do not fluoridate their water, including Austria, Belgium, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and Switzerland. Majority of cities and towns in Massachusetts do not fluoridate their water, including Brockton, Plymouth, Hanson, Hanover, Norwell, Halifax, East Bridgewater, Abington, Whitman, Marshfield, and Rockland. And did you know that for $1.25 you can purchase a big giant tube of fluoridated toothpaste and fluoridate more effectively than drinking the water? I encourage you to vote, even though it's non-binding, to stop fluoridating Pembroke water for the sake of our children's neurodevelopment. Thank you.
Chair recognizes James Kincaid.
James Kincaid, I want to move the issue, please.
James moves the question. It's been seconded. All those in favor of going right to the vote and move the question, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. So we go to the main motion by Maureen J.C. To discontinue the fluoridation as printed. in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant article under Article 28. All those in favor of her motion, please raise your hand. All those opposed? The noes have it, and I declare it lost. Article 20. Article 20 is on page 24 of the warrant. Chair recognizes someone from advisory, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Chair recognizes Rich Flynn from Board of Select Board.
I move that the town vote to amend the general bylaw, Article 20, Police Regulations, Section 14, by inserting new text shown as underlined as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant under Article 20.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion made by Rich Flynn, please raise your hand. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Before we go to the next article, the chair has been reminded by the town meeting clerk, Peg, that Patrick Chilcott is retiring from the school committee after many, many years of service. And we just want to take the opportunity to thank Patrick for his service to the school committee and the community. Article 9. Chair recognizes Sandy Beaton from advisory.
Move that the town raise and appropriate the sum of $92,801 and transfer the sum of $31,000 from the ambulance fund and $61,801 from the overlay reserve to fund the cost items of the first year of the new collective bargaining agreement between the town of Pembroke and the Pembroke Permanent Firefighters Association for the period from July 1st, 2025 to July 30th, 2028.
Motion by Sandy has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Oh, okay. I guess not. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 10 on page 12. Chair recognizes Tim Landy from advisory.
Move that the town vote to accept the provisions of Chapter 399 of the Acts of 2024 to permit the installation, operation, and maintenance of school bus violation detection and monitoring systems on school buses.
Motion's been made and seconded, and if you want to read the fairly recently adopted state law, it's in Appendix F of the warrant. Is there any discussion on this matter at all? Seeing none, all those in favor, oh yes, Chair recognizes, I'm sorry, I have to state your name again.
Nicole Leidick, Wampatuck Street. I just have a question as to what the expected cost is going to be versus what the intended revenue is expected from the ticketing.
Well, Chair, if there's no one to answer, there's no one to answer. Chair can't compel an answer to the question other than we don't know. Is that what I'm seeing? Okay,
So we don't know how much it's going to cost to outfit these buses. Is that correct? Thank you.
any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a suggestion. I don't think this
Wait
is a
a
cost issue.
minute.
It's a
Okay,
safety
I'm sorry. Chair recognizes Tim. Go, Landy, go ahead.
I don't think it's a cost issue. I think it's a safety issue. We have people that are driving past buses that shouldn't be. And, you know, against cars, kids don't win. So it's really a safety issue.
Any further discussion on this item? See, yes. And once again, I'm just going to ask you to repeat your name.
Stefan Svoy, can
Stefan.
you just tell me what the safety issues are?
Chair recognizes Tim Landy.
We have people that are passing buses while they're letting kids off of them. So potentially a kid could get run over.
Any other discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of the motion made by advisory, please raise your hand. Opposed, no, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 30. This is another petition article. Article 30, it's on page 30 of the warrant. So is Nicole in the house? Chair recognizes Nicole Pelletier.
So Article 30 is to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds a sum of $1 million.
So Nicole, I'm going to just stop you right there. And the article's print in the warrant, people see it. Just if you
So I
could
don't
read the
even need to
motion.
read it?
Yeah, you don't need it. Just
Perfect.
read the
Okay.
motion, yeah.
Love that, thank you. Okay, I move that the town indefinitely postpone Article 30.
The motion's been made by one of the petitioners to indefinitely postpone this article. The chair recognizes Nicole Pelletier.
No further comment?
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion to indefinitely postpone, which means take no action, same thing, on Article 30, please raise your hand. Opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 1 we did, right? Okay. Article 2 we did. Article 13.
Mr. Moderator, move that the town...
Chair recognizes Liz Benotti. I'm sorry.
Move that the town vote to amend Section 4, subsection 10 of the town zoning bylaws by adding the underlined text and removing the text shown as strike-through as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant under Article 13, Amendment A.
Motion's been made and seconded. So this is a motion relative to medical marijuana, which was referenced by an earlier speaker. It requires 3 separate motions. The first one requires a 2/3 vote. Is there any discussion or question? State your point of order. Okay, so it would be helpful if we had someone maybe that could explain the article. And so the town recognizes Bill Chenard.
So motion A simply changes the language from registered marijuana dispensary to a permitted marijuana dispensary. It's a correction in the language. And a permitted marijuana business, right?
So just for clarification, please correct the chair if I'm wrong. This essentially allows non-medical marijuana sales in current medical marijuana district. Is that correct? Okay. Any other discussion on this? Again, 3 motions. This one does require a, since it's a bylaw change, requires a 2/3 vote. So all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it having reached the necessary 2/3 necessary for passage. Chair recognizes Liz Benotti.
Move that the town vote to amend Article 20, Police Regulations, Section 14C of the town's general bylaws by adding the underlined text and removing the text shown as strike-through as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant under Article 13, Amendment B.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? This requires a simple majority. All those in favor, please raise. Go ahead. Chair recognizes Jane Corman.
Sorry, I just had a question. I was just wondering when we developed the marijuana overlay district. As a North Pembroke resident that's near Stop and Shop, I just feel like we got all the overlay districts, the MBTA zoning going here, the medical marijuana overlay district, which I didn't even know we had. It just feels like you might want to put something on another side of town. I don't know.
So, Chair, can you address that question? Chair recognizes Bill Chenard.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but it was about 11 or 12 years ago.
Yes.
Marty Kernan, I'm on Water Street. Can you tell us where the district is, and is it at the MBTA, in the same zoning as where the MBTA district is? Or is it over by the basketball, youth
No.
center?
Chair recognizes Bill Chenard.
No, the current marijuana district is to the east of Route 3. So it's on the other side of Route 3. It's not the same as the MBTA district.
It's towards the Marshfield side?
Yes.
Any other further questions or discussion on this matter? On the motion by Liz from advisory, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Takes a simple majority. All those opposed? The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. The chair recognizes Liz Benatti.
Mr. Moderator, move that the town vote to accept GLC 64 and Section 3 to impose an excise tax on the retail sales of marijuana for adult use at the rate of 3%, as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant under Article 13, Amendment C.
Any discussion on this matter? Question, go ahead. So the chair recognizes Stefan. Your last name again?
Savoya.
Savoy.
The 3% will be used for what? Just into the general coffers of the...
So
the chair recognizes Bill Chenard.
The 3% is a general fund revenue that's voted on for use by you folks.
Any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, this takes a simple majority. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 4. Chair recognizes Brian Logan from, I'm sorry, it's Steve, right?
Yep.
Yep, Steve Pat from Advisory Committee.
Move that the town appropriate the sum of $2,766,533 from the solid waste revenues to fund the fiscal year 2026 Solid Waste Enterprise Fund, as shown in Appendix D of the 2025 annual town meeting warrant.
Second.
Any discussion on this matter?
Chair recognizes Matthew McNeely.
Mr. Moderator, I'm just wondering if we may get a quick preview of the solid waste budget. I mean, years past, we were talking about bowling balls that were for additional expenses. There were all of these costs associated with our trash bill. I assume that this is the article that we're talking about right now, is the cost of the trash collection.
Chair recognizes Bill Chenard. And by the way, that details of that budget are in Appendix D of the warrant.
Nope, it's okay. So if you refer to Appendix D on page 39 of the warrant, it breaks it out as salaries is $114,292. The expenses are all of our tipping costs, all of our curbside pickup costs, and the operation of our recycle center.
Bill, can you just move the microphone a little closer?
Sure. Expenses are all of our pickup costs, all of our tipping costs, both for trash and recycling, and our operation of our recycling center and the hazardous waste program is just over 2.7 million. Capital, which is local testing and some other things that we do within the budget annually, is 355,000, and a reserve fund of 100,000 for a total of 4.2 million. The bowling ball issue, we believe we have resolved. We used to have over a 25% contamination rate in our recycling. I'm going to use this opportunity as a public service message. Please review what's allowed in our recycling. As was referred to earlier, we've reduced from 25 to 13%, which is a huge cost savings to the town. We really want to get that number under 10%. If we can get that additional 3%, we will save a lot of money on our recycling tipping. So review what can go in your recycle bins. Put that in your recycle bins because that's less expensive, but put the rest in the trash. Thank you.
Bowling balls are not recyclable.
They are not.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion on Article 4, solid waste operating budget, takes a simple majority, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 5. Chair recognizes Linda Peterson. Chair just wants to take a moment to thank advisory under Linda's leadership. They started the budget process almost a year ago. They just finished one, they start the other. It's a year-long process. Not only does advisory review the budgets of all the departments, but they are obligated under state law to make a recommendation on every single article. So they have to debate every single article, or discuss it, I should say, whether it's financial related or not. So Chair appreciates their hard work. Chair recognizes Linda Peterson.
Mr. Moderator, move that the town appropriate $16,479,398 for the capital project set forth in Appendix E of the 2025 annual town meeting warrant. That to meet this appropriation, the town, 1, transfer $1,424,398 from free cash for the projects and in the amounts listed as free cash under the column funding source, as printed in Appendix E. 2, transfer $40,000 from water fund retained earnings for the project and in the amount listed as water retained earnings under the column funding source, as printed in said Appendix E. 3, transfer $355,000 from the ambulance fund for the project and in the amount listed in ambulance fund under the column funding source, as printed in said Appendix E. 4, transfer $45,000 from solid waste fund retained earnings for the project and in the amount listed as solid waste retained earnings, and under the column funding source as printed in Appendix E. 5, authorize the treasurer, with the approval of the select board, to borrow $13,450,000 under Chapter 44, Section 8 of the general laws or any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds and notes for the projects and in the amounts listed as water borrowing under the column funding source, and for the project and in the amount of $150,000 from the water asset management grant project listed as grant under the column funding source, all as printed in Appendix E, provided that for the water assessment management project that the select board is authorized to accept and apply a grant of $150,000, which grant shall be applied to reduce any long-term borrowing for such project, and further, that while any bonds or notes issued for such projects shall be general obligations of the town, debt service is expected to be paid in the first instance from the Water Enterprise Fund. And 6, authorize the treasurer, with the approval of the select board, to borrow $1,165,000 under Chapter 44, Section 7 of the general laws or any other enabling authority for the projects and in the amounts listed as general fund borrowing under the column funding source, as printed in said Appendix E, and authorize the town manager to take any other action necessary or convenient to carry out these projects.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, this requires a 2/3 vote. So all those in favor of the motion by Linda Peterson, please raise your hand. Opposed, please raise your hand. And I declare it so voted, having reached the necessary 2/3 necessary for passage. And if you're interested, you've probably checked online already, but top of the ninth, Sox are tied 6-6 with Detroit. Article 19. Chair recognizes Rich Flynn from the Select Board.
I move that the town vote to amend its general bylaws, Article 10, Advisory Committee, by deleting text shown as struck through and inserting new text shown as underlined in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant under Article 19.
Motion's been made and seconded. This is another bylaw change submitted by the Bylaw Review Committee. Is there any discussion or question? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion by Rich Flynn, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 16. It's on page 19 of the warrant. Chair recognizes Steve Pat.
Move that the town vote to amend its general bylaws, Article 3, Drainage Commission, by deleting said article in its entirety, and further, to eliminate those town boards or committees whose functions have been assigned to other town departments, or consolidated in the town manager under the Town Manager Act, as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant under Article 16.
Second. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 11. Chair recognizes Steve Pat from Advisory.
Move that the town vote to approve Article 11 as printed in the 2025 annual town meeting warrant.
Motion's been made and seconded. This does require a 2/3. Is there any discussion or question? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it, and I declare it has reached the 2/3 necessary for passage. I think we're down to 2, Article 18. It's on page 21 of the warrant. The chair recognizes Scott Shaharn.
I move that the town vote to amend its general bylaw, Article 31, Historical District Bylaw, Section 3, relative to the alterations of a roof in the historical districts by adding the words shown bold and underlined as printed in the 2025 annual town warrant under Article 18.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion or question? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion just requires a majority. Please raise your hand. All those opposed? The ayes have it, and I declare it so voted. Article 3 is the last item of business. And they said it couldn't be done in one night. The chair recognizes Brian Logan.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Move that the town appropriate the sum of $4,944,069 from the water revenue to fund the fiscal year 2026 Water Enterprise Fund as shown in Appendix C of the 2025 annual town meeting warrant.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? The details are in Appendix C of your warrant. Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it. Before I recognize a motion to adjourn, the chair just wants to thank you for your attendance, for sticking to it. A lot of awesome debate and a lot of accomplishments tonight, and we got it all done. So the chair thanks you. Thanks the Board of Selectmen, too many people, too numerous to mention the town's clerk's office and others for making sure that the warrant is done correctly and that the meeting is conducted in a proper manner. And so the chair of the Board of Selectmen, Tracy Marino, moves that the meeting be adjourned. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I declare